Welcome back, you guys. If you're on this video, you more than likely clicked it because you're having some sublimation issues. So in this particular video, I'm going to be breaking down some of the most common issues I have seen and heard about in sublimation. So let's go ahead and break them down and get started and fix your problem. Okay, so the first problem that I'm going to cover is what do you do if you have dots on your image. So if, let's say you're pressing something, whether it's a mug or a shirt or anything particular, and once you are done, you look at that image and you don't see anything, like there doesn't appear to be anything there, but suddenly you're getting dots, little maybe blue dots even, on your item after you're done with it. It depends on what it is, but by and large, this is going to be lint that is very small lint or dust or something like that that is getting caught on the item and it's not cleaned off before the press, and then it's getting pressed into the mug. So this can be fixed by, if you're using a shirt and you're doing sublimation on a shirt, take a lint roller and use the lint roller very generously before applying your image and pressing it. This will cut down on those issues with a shirt. Now, if it's a mug and you're seeing these issues, make sure that you're wiping down your mug completely. If you are doing these steps and with coffee mugs or a tumbler or something like that, you're still seeing those issues, you're going to want to check your printer because there's probably something there that needs to be cleaned out. So do a clean printer head on your computer to make sure that you're not getting any random ink splots because something isn't cleaned properly. But start with the lint, follow up with cleaning the printer if you need to. The second issue is going to be relating to banding. So if you have an image that is printing and it's looking something like this, so you're having some lines come across your image that's not where you wanted them to be when you're printing it off, and no matter what, you don't know what's going on. Try cleaning your printer heads, and also check to make sure your ink levels are adequate. Make sure they're at a good level, clean your printer heads, and this should take care of your banding issue. All right, the next issue that we have is called ghosting. So this is where you're getting kind of almost like a shadow of your image kind of next to your image, and you're like, why is that coming up there? This is typically due to your image being moved during the process somewhere during pressing. So if you are lifting the heat press up, for example, and it moves slightly in that process, you're going to have some ghosting. Same with a mug press. So to avoid this, you want to be using some kind of heat tape. If you need some, I'll list it down below. Tape your image down firmly. You can also use, some people use like an adhesive instead of tape, but you need to use something to hold your image firmly in place. This will stop the ghosting. Right, the next thing is if your color isn't coming out right. And honestly, I think if you've been in sublimation for any length of time, you've had this problem, so welcome. But to fix this issue, if your color isn't coming out right, you want to check your color management. So make sure you're using the recommended color settings for the printer that you are using. By that, I mean, I personally have a Sawgrass. If I'm designing in Photoshop and I am printing from Photoshop using my Sawgrass printer, I need to select in the settings that I am going to want my Sawgrass print manager to handle the print color settings. If I let Photoshop handle it, it's not going to come out well. And I'm going to show you what I mean by let Sawgrass handle it and how you can tell your computer to print through your print manager. Okay, so what you're going to do, and this can apply to any program you're using, it doesn't have to just be Photoshop. You're going to go ahead and go to File, and you're going to hit Print. Now, to make sure that it's printing through the correct your print manager system, what you want to do is when it pops up here, you can see that it says Sawgrass SG400. Make sure that's got the right printer. And you can go down to Print Settings. When this appears, there is a little box down here. Currently it says PDF. Click on that and select Sawgrass Print Manager. Then also from there, you're going to make sure the color handling says Printer Manages Colors. If Photoshop Manages Colors is selected, that will make the input look funky, so make sure that it says Printer Manages Colors. Once you have that selected, hit Print. After you've done this, your Sawgrass Print Manager box should appear and you will be good to go. Once you have that selected, your image is going to print and you're going to have the colors that you need, and they're going to press properly. Now, if you're still running into more trouble beyond that, you're going to need to take a look into your time and temperature of what you're pressing to see if maybe it's something related to that. But if you are printing stuff off and it's just coming off way the wrong color, try that. Make sure that your image is printing through the right printer and the right printer management system. All right, and this next one is one that frustrated me for a very long time, and if I'm honest, it still frustrates me from time to time. But this is if you are having lines on items that you're pressing, specifically t-shirts. So let's say you're pressing a shirt and you just say you have an image on the shirt, and I'll put up one here that's just, ooh, it's a bad example. This was back when I first started. But it has really harsh lines on it, and you don't know how to get rid of it. There's a couple different tips and tricks. One, lighten the pressure. Especially if you're coming from a vinyl background like I did, you're used to pressure. More is awesome when you're dealing with vinyl. When you're dealing with sublimation, that is not the case. You do not need that much pressure with your t-shirts. So loosen it up substantially on that pressure to make sure that it's closing, but you don't have a lot of pressure on it. The more pressure, the more you're gonna push those tape and those lines into that shirt, and you cannot get it out. Once you have that done, it's done. Those lines aren't coming out of that shirt. That's your new shirt. You can also tear the edges of your image. So let's say your image is on this paper. You can just go around it and start tearing lightly like this. So you have like a feathered edge all the way around your image. This is going to create, if you do get any kind of lines, it's going to make them a lot less noticeable, especially combined with that less pressure that you just eased up on. So make sure that you are doing that as well. Now, if you're still struggling after that, you can go ahead and get like a pressing pillow or something of that kind that's going to lift it up a little bit to make it not where it's all flat and all pressing into each other. So it's going to help as well. I'll link some down below if you need them. To be honest, I have some pressing pillows. Do I use them often? Not a ton, but when you do need it, it's nice to have. So it's kind of one of those things to have and to keep in mind, and when you need it, you need it. So that is things that I have found helpful. So if you are having one of those issues, I truly hope that one of those suggestions I have will help you. If you need any other help, again, I am by no means an expert, but I am happy to help if I can. So drop a comment down below, and thank you so much for watching. If you did find it helpful, please consider subscribing, because it does help my channel a lot. Thank you guys for watching.